You know what it is. That's right. It's time to talk money with your money nerd and financial coach. Now, tighten those purse strings and open those ears. It's the Money Talk with Tiff podcast.
Hey everyone, I am so excited because I have Tami Jaffe on the line. Now we're going to talk about how your money changes when you do. Now, I know I talk about money behaviors and things like that all the time on the podcast, but I'm sure Tami has something new to give us and we love new information. Hey Tami, how are you?
Hey, Tiffany, I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. So what do you mean your money changes when you do?
Well, we're always saying, I want more money or I want to do something different. And the truth is, nothing changes until we really decide for it to. We've got to make the decision that we want to do something different. We've got to make the decision that we want more. We've got to change who we are in order to get that. Because what's happening is our minds are saying one thing and we're like, we're good in our comfort zone. We don't need to change. But yet we're like, I want more. I want to do more. I want to travel more. I want to have more. But the truth is, you haven't really made the decision for that to happen yet.
Gotcha. And they say the definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting a different result. So now, with that being said, if there's somebody listening, they're like, okay, Tami, I got you. Okay, Tiffany, I got you. But how do I even know that I'm not thinking differently? Sometimes when we're on autopilot, it's hard to get out of that. So what are some tips that you have for people that are currently just on autopilot?
Yeah, so a few tips for you just to get started. One, be specific. What do you want? So you say, I want more money, or I want to change my money situation. I want to get out of debt. I want to do something differently. So be specific. What does that mean? Just saying you want more. If I were to like send you a check in the mail and you're like getting all excited to go out and get it, and you open the mail and you're like, okay, Tami sent me $1. Are you really going to be that excited? Probably not. But you can't argue that you have more, because you had more than what you did before you opened the envelope. And so when we're not specific, things come into our life and then we like write them off because we don't recognize that it's coming because we asked for more. And you might be like, okay, I'm just going to give that to my kids, put it in their piggy bank because $1 not really going to get me much. But when we're specific and when you can measure what you're getting, then you're going to get different results. And let me give you an example. When I decided that I was going to leave my job and start my business, it was like I was going through my coaching certification and working full time. And I was like, okay, I'm going to set a very specific goal of what I want to hit for my bonus that year if I was going to quit and leave my job, because then I felt like I had a little more security. And it was a big stretch. It wasn't a number that I had hit before. It was a pretty big stretch. And so I was like, but if I can hit that, I feel then I'll have some money in the bank set aside while I'm growing my business and getting started. And I thought about that every day. I used it as a password tool tip for you there, right? Go put it like something you're typing in every day. Your phone password, your computer password, something that makes you think about that number every day that you're looking to get to. Whether it's your monthly number, whether it's a specific goal you want to hit, think about what that is for you. Use that. Think about it every day. And instead of going into the office every morning and being like, oh man, I gotta drag myself in again today. Instead, I changed my mindset. And I'm like, every morning when I would walk from the parking garage into the office, I would start thinking about, this is the day I'm going to turn in my resignation. And I would start getting pumped up and I'm like, what's it going to feel like? What's it going to be like? And I would start thinking about that day and the excitement of what that would be. And so I shifted my mindset as I was going into the office. And the day came where I got my bonus, and the number I got was the exact number I had asked for. Not $1 less, not $1 more. And this was a big stretch. And so if I had gotten less, I could have been like, nope, didn't get it. Not my time. If I had gotten more, I might have been like, well, maybe I should stick around another year to see what I can get the next year. But I had been specific and said, if I get this as my sign. And so I couldn't deny that was the time. It was my time to turn in my resignation and leave. And so when you are specific and you can measure what you're trying to get to, then the universe shows up and gives you exactly what you're asking for. And you know that you've been asking for it. And you can't deny that you've been asking for it.
Yes, I have definitely learned because I'm a firm believer in the law of attraction, right? And so writing down what you really want and making sure it's specific because Tammy said if you just ask for more money, if she sends you $1, guess what? It's more money. And so that's what you ask for. And I have definitely learned that in so many different areas of my life that not being as specific as enough, you get things and it's, but wait, this is not what I was saying. So definitely being specific. And then I love your tip about the password thing. I never thought about that. Around my office, I have like little things written down and stuff like that, but I never thought about making any of my goals a password. So that is an awesome tip. Now, once somebody gets past being specific and maybe visualizing what that looks like, whatever, reaching their goals, like you were going into the office and you were like, okay, what does that look like? And you're just visualizing. So if they've made something specific, they are visualizing it, they're writing it down, they're making it passwords if they can. What are some other things that they could possibly do to make things come to fruition?
Yeah, I'll share with you the formula that I use in my book. My book is called You Already Made the Decision, You're Just Not Happy with It. And how many times in our life do we say, I want something, I'm going to do something, but the fact is you've already made the decision and the decision is not to change. Or the decision is that you just want something but you're not going to go after it. And so when you really want to make a big change in your life, you've got to start with clarity. And that clarity around, we talked about Tiffany, right? Being specific in what you want, but not just being specific and having that number in mind. There's other questions you have to get answered as well. You need to know how you're going to make it happen. What steps do you need to take? What actions do you need to be taking every day? Who can help you with that is another question that you can get answered. Who do you know that's been through that before that can now help you get there? And so when you're thinking about what it is you want, start asking the right questions. And as you get clarity, I call this the clarity trifecta. And if you can picture a triangle with a circle in the middle, and that circle in the middle is the clarity. And the three sides of the triangle are your confidence, your courage, and your commitment. And as your clarity grows, that pushes out on the three sides of the triangle. And you get a little bit of confidence and you start to have that faith and belief that you can do this. And then it gives you a little bit of courage because now you know the first step you need to take. You don't have to have every step figured out, but you know what that next step is, and you can take that next step. And then the next step will become a little more clear. And you can take the next step and the next step, and that starts to build momentum. And as your clarity grows, your commitment grows. Now, everybody says you start with commitment. You've got to be committed. You've got to start with a little bit of commitment, but you can't, it's really hard to be committed to something that you're unclear on, right? So when you understand what those steps are, when you understand how to make it happen, when you understand who can help you with it, when you start to get some courage, your commitment grows. And then you get more committed to it. And around that triangle, I've added a consistency bubble because we want to get the snowball effect and we want to get momentum. And so you've got to be consistent in the behaviors that are working. Make sure you're taking the actions that are making the biggest progress for you and continue to do those consistently in order to get the results you want. And that's what I call the clarity trifecta. And so if you can put those things in place, make those things happen for you, then everything changes. You start to have a different result. You start to get a different impact. Now, whether it's your money, your relationships, your job, whatever area of your life you want to do, you can apply this to. And so I'll just share one other tip that, because I know you were asked for some tips. So another tip that you can do is put reminders in your phone. So I have several reminders that come up throughout the day. Some of them are inspirational. Like I have one that says, I am growing in love, abundance, and success every day as I inspire others to do the same. And that's an inspirational one for me. And then I have another one that's about my goal. Like, I am so excited and happy that I have hit my X number goal this month. And so when you're reading those every single day and solidifying those and reframing your mindset, it makes a huge impact.
Yes, yes. I know when I used to work in corporate. So there's two things I want to hit on because you hit on a lot. So the first thing, I know using the trifecta, like I didn't know that was what it was called then, but when I was ready to quit corporate, I said, okay, Tiffany, this is how much you need. I broke it down by the day. This is how much money you need. And at that time, it was like $50 a day. So I was like, if I can make $50 a day, I can cover all of my bills. And so every day, I did side hustles and things like that after I got off of work to hit the $50 a day. And then once I was able to do it consistently, I said, okay, this has given me the confidence because I had clarity around what that number was. So it gave me the confidence to actually step out the door. And a lot of my coworkers were, Tiffany, what are you going to do? Projecting their fears onto me. But at the same time, I was like, look, I got this. I'm so confident in my decision because I know what I needed to do and I was able to hit that goal. So I just wanted to share that story as well. And then also pause. Because I forgot my other point.
Well, you're thinking, I love that because you were really specific, right? You're like $50 a day. And so if you don't hit it one day, the next day you're like, okay, it's 100 today. And you continue to grow that as you know that you're looking at that goal every single day. Let me get to my 50. Let me get to my 50. And it's something to work towards.
Yeah. And then the other thing that I wanted to hit on was the reminders on the phone. So I remember, because I'm very heavy into affirmations as well, and like motivational quotes and things like that. And I would have one that went off at 10 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and then 6 o'clock, I believe it was. And it was usually at those times when I needed the most, because mind you, this was when I was in corporate. So, once you get there, you're getting settled in. 10 o'clock is like a good time where you need a little extra bump. And then of course, like the 2 to 3 o'clock window, that's when everybody starts like gazing off and stuff.
Mid-afternoon slump, right?
So I had it then. And then it was one when I came home to my family and it was like, family is important, spend time. It was like stuff that was in tune with what was going on during the day. So I highly recommend that. It always kept me going. And I appreciate you bringing that up because I forgot all about that.
Yes. Yeah. And always updating them, right? So the change every once in a while. So it's like something new and something different and having some of those triggers, like when you walk in your door, when you get at home, you can say something that just reminds you of being present with your family and letting go and leaving behind all the stuff that you might have brought in from the office or from wherever you're coming from. And being present.
Absolutely. And also, if people are like, I don't know what type of affirmations, I actually use an app now called I Am. And it gives me like a new affirmation like every hour or so. Like it gives me a lot. I have that on my phone screen and stuff. So that way I have new ones refreshing every so often. And then the ones that I like, I just hit the love button and I can go back to later. So there's a tip for people if they're like, I don't even know where to start with this whole affirmation thing, or y'all are speaking another language. That is an app that you can try. So thank you so much, Tami, for coming on the show today. Now, if people were interested in learning more about you or from you, where would they find you?
You can go to TamiJaffe.com and everything is there on my website. But also share a free gift with your people, those who are thinking about making that leap like you and I did, Tiffany, from employees to entrepreneurs. I have the Corporate to Cash Jumpstart Kit, and you can get that at thejumpstartkit.com. And that's going to help you get a jumpstart on your clients, your strategy, because most of the time people are missing the strategy and knowing what to do when they're getting started. How to understand your numbers, like Tiffany and I were talking about, how much do you need to be making each day? And what does that mean as far as how many clients does that interpret to? So a lot of information in the Jumpstart Kit. So you can get that at thejumpstartkit.com.
Awesome. And I will have all that information in the show notes. So if you are driving or doing something else and can't take down notes, I will have that all in the show notes, so check that out. So thank you so much, Tami, for coming on today. I appreciate this conversation so much.
Yeah, so fun being here with you. Hope you all have a blessed day.
Bye.
Thank you for listening, joining, and being a part of the Money Talk with Tiff podcast this week. You can check Tiff out every Thursday for a new Money Talk podcast. But if you just can't wait until next week, you can listen to previous podcast episodes at moneytalkwitht.com or follow Tiff on all social media platforms at Money Talk with T. Until next time, spend wise by spending less than you make. A word to the money wise is always sufficient.